going on, guys? My name is Ben.
I am Fireface, and you're watching the Goblin Craft.
So, I've been in this hobby for a couple of years now, and I have been looking to other content creators like Black Magic Craft and Wylock and DM Scotty to get inspiration for my builds, and I've seen a lot of success in what I've done, and I've been happy with it, but never really bothered to do any videos on it because everything that I've built was just recreated from something I've seen somebody else do. And I didn't want to steal anybody else's work. But now I have an original thing and something I've never seen anybody else do, and I want to share it with you. So without any further delay, let's get into it.
Building dungeon terrain out of refuse and garbage is my specialty.
This was $1.25 at Dollar Tree, and I was looking for this baby right here, but it also came with these. And because you can't see it very well inside the package, what I'm talking about here is this right here. It's made of plastic, and it looks like a diamond or some kind of gem. It's clear, and I thought, what could I possibly do with these? We'll figure it out. What I really wanted was that, so that I could do this. So I could put a light in my portal, and it even changes colors.
Just know that whatever you can build, I can build better!
We're going to need a few essential items here, and the first item is a sheet of XPS foam, okay? It's insulation foam. You can get it at places like Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware. Menards is where I got this from, and they sell it for about $4.50 a sheet, and it's a 3x3 sheet. And I mean, there's literally nothing you can't do with it when it comes to dungeon crafting. So we're going to be using this today, and also we're going to need paintbrushes, hot glue gun, and we're going to need a spray bottle for our wash. And of course, the plastic diamonds. What we're going to build today is we're going to build a vein of ore, like precious gems, diamonds, it could be whatever, coming out of a rock face in a mine. First thing we want to do is we want to take our utility knife, which we'll also need. And guys, safety first. It doesn't have to be an exact cut. Just make sure that you're not cutting anywhere near any limb or part of your body. Make several straight cuts into the foam. Like I said, it doesn't have to be an exact straight line because we're going to be cutting the hell out of this thing. There we go. So we have a piece, like I said, not an exact straight line, but that's okay. What we want to do next is we want to cut this down even further. So we're going to start here. There. Like that. go. And we're going to use this piece, okay? Now, what we want to do is we want to start shaving this down. So you want to get it to look like stone. So before we do anything else, we're going to take another item we'll need, a pen, and draw out where you want to cut. Okay? Doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to exactly follow the lines, but this gives you an idea of where you're going with this. All right? And then just start hacking away at it. Okay. Until you got something that looks a little bit like that. All right? And then rinse, wash, repeat. Don't worry if it isn't a clean cut because it's supposed to look like stone anyway, right? So, should have something that looks like that. Then, you can take more pieces. Don't worry about the fact that there's cracks in there. There's supposed to be, because you'll see when it turns out. The reason I didn't just go ahead and stick a square pattern on there and then just cut away at it was because I wanted these lines to be present, and you'll see why in a little bit. So now we're gonna start hacking away at this.
Do your worst.
Okay, so what you want to do is start by carving the outside edges of the piece. Start chipping away at it. So that it begins to look like stone. Just keep hacking away at it until you get what satisfies you is a stone rock face that you would see in a cave or a mine. You don't want to see any smooth areas of the surface here. So make sure you rough every square inch of this piece up. Get it looking real rough, like somebody just tore the hell out of it. don't have to worry about the inside here because that's all going to be covered by the plastic diamonds. So really, once you get something that resembles that, we can start to assemble the rock ore and place it inside there. So we're going to start by just trying to fasten a couple of these together, see how they fit, and then you want to go ahead and hit it with the hot glue and stick them together. You have to hold them together for several seconds as this is plastic, and hot glue and plastic don't tend to get along all that great, so be patient. And there you go. Let that dry for a few moments longer as we move on to the next piece. Take the two that you've already glued and try to assemble a third. Once you got something that looks a little bit like that, you don't want them to go all the way around in a complete circle. You can start stacking them. So it should start to resemble something like that, okay? And it should be hollow on the inside, okay? So basically what you're doing is you're building up sort of a roundish wall of diamonds. There we go. And what we have is our diamond cache. And it's gonna go right inside here. Just like that. So, I took the liberty of making some additions to this. I put a little rock piece right here made out of XPS foam, and I put a little flooring in here because when I stuck this piece in here to see how well it would fit and I stood it up, it was a little bottom heavy and started falling over because it didn't have enough of a support on the bottom here. So I shaved another piece of foam and glued it to the bottom here and then carved it all out and carved the little rock piece up here at the top. And now it's gonna look like it's embedded in the stone. So the next step is to hot glue the inside walls here and on the floor. And then stick your diamonds in, and you may need to pour more hot glue in there in the cracks to get it to hold. And that's it. So at this point, we can shut the hot glue gun off and move to the next step, which is texture. The old aluminum foil ball trick. Just take it and you want to further rough up the surface of the piece to add more texture to the stone. Make sure to just pull off any piece that looks like it's peeling as you texture away. There you go. Now you got all that grit in there, and at this point, we are ready for paint. I first like to start off with Jeremy's Secret from Black Magic Craft. Good old black Mod Podge. So we will go ahead and coat the entire foam part in Mod Podge. Don't be afraid to get a little bit of it on the diamonds, as that will just add to the look of this being diamonds that you would find in a mine that have yet to be mined and might have some impurities in them. I like to get the entire surface of the piece, including parts that I haven't textured or that won't be seen, because the Mod Podge will just harden that area, and I want the entire piece to be hardened and covered so that it's protected against any damage that might come to it at any point. So I'll even cover the back in good old Mod Podge. So our base coat is finished. We can now proceed to the second coat, which is a light gray. I'll use a light gray on this one. I mix this gray paint with a little bit of water so that it runs a little thinner and gets in all the cracks and crevices. Another trick I picked up from Black Magic Craft. Just trying to give props where props is due. One thing I did notice when looking at this over after it dried was that, let's see if I can get this in here, there was some hot glue globs that appeared that just kind of just poured over on the diamonds there. My answer for that is to just cover that in gray paint. You know, that could end up being just rock on the diamonds because, you know, that ends up happening. You end up digging up some diamonds and you end up having to dig it out of rock. So feel free to throw some gray paint on that to kind of cover it up. And there we are. At this point, the paint is dry, and we are ready to move to the next step, which is to give it a wash. I like to use a black wash because the black will get into all the cracks and crevices and really bring out some detail. Don't worry if you get it on the glass, because the great thing about this is just watered down paint and it will wipe right off of the plastic. So feel free to spray away. If you don't have a spray bottle, you can use a paintbrush and that works just fine. I just prefer to use a spray bottle because it goes quicker. There you go. And then you just sit and let that dry. It'll take several hours, but when it's done, it'll look tight.
Until next time.
Okay, now that the wash is dry, we can go ahead and proceed to the final step, which is our dry brush coat. So what we want to do first, and before I get into that, let me show you how the wash has added so much color and detail to the piece. Okay, let's get into the final step. We're going to go with a lighter tone of gray. So I'm going to take some white acrylic paint and mix it with the gray that I have on hand to lighten up the color. We don't really need that much, just enough to lighten it up. Get it good and mixed there. And then once you have it good and mixed, take a napkin and just kind of brush it off. Okay? And then just go through and touch it up. If it seems like the paint is a little too wet, you can wipe it off some more. And then let me show you here. You can see that. You do that throughout the entire piece until you have the consistency that you're looking for. Versus that side, you can see how the dry brush brings out a lot of those details and textures. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a little bit more of that before we bring this video to a close. And because it's a dry brush, you don't need that much drying time. And it really caused this piece to pop. Alright, so that's about it. We now have our diamond embedded in stone. This was my experimental piece, the one that gave me the idea to go ahead and make this. And so I was just kind of goofing around with it a little bit and decided, why don't I cut a hole in the back of it so that I can stick one of these in it and turn it into some glowing crystals. And unfortunately it didn't work out so well because this thing doesn't go all the way through, but you know, hey, trial and error, right? So, but anyway, this is the final result. I hope you guys like it. Please give this video a like, thumbs up, and comment in the comment section below. And please subscribe if you like what you see and you want more content. Let me know by subscribing and commenting in the comment section below. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching Goblin Craft.
You may have been able to build this out of dollar store items, but try building a dog slicer out of metal pieces and junk.